prices are seeing double-digit growth as prices are rising. There are those who say that you shouldn't buy a home, and those who say that you should buy one. So we're going to look at both scenarios to show you which is best. Don't swipe or click away because we'll discuss whether you should buy a house in 2022. Guys like Dave Ramsey say that this is the best time to buy a house. Now, you should bear in mind that people were livid. Just the sheer amount of hate comments he got for saying this is extraordinary, and the video has more likes than dislikes. Now, before we tell you why he said that, we should just like to point out that this is not a popular opinion, but we think it's good to hear both sides, even if you disagree with it. Ramsey's case was built on the fact that only one time in the past 100 years did real estate prices go down. That was during the time of the 2008 recession, when the housing market bubble popped. Other than that, housing prices never went down. Now, there were times when people stopped buying houses, but that didn't make the prices go down. The prices remained the same. So if you are looking to buy a house, the prices of real estate are not going to go down in the next 5 years. So if you cannot wait more than 5 years, then buying a house right now would be a really good idea. However, if you can wait, then Dave Ramsey said that you could wait for more favorable market conditions. Furthermore, he added that the current situation is the tipping point. Ramsey predicted that this is the beginning of a 5-year downward slope. In other words, in the next 5 years, things are going to get worse. And even though it might seem bad to buy a house right now, if you can't wait, it's probably the best time to do so. Even renters are taking a hit, according to CNBC. They said that even the renters were smashing that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, they said that even the renters took a big hit. Rent for single-family housing rose up to an unprecedented average of $2,495 in the first half of this year. That's a 13.4% increase when you compare it with the same period in 2021. So obviously, if you need to buy a house right now and don't want to spend outrageous money on rent, then buying a house is a smart idea. He also made a statement about why it's also best to sell a house in this market. But let's not get into that for now. Now, let's look at the majority that say buying a house right now is the worst financial mistake you can make. First of all, 75% of all the recent home buyers have said that they regret buying their new home. 2 in 5 people say that they bought a house so far away from their job that it significantly increased their commute to work. So they spend an astounding 40% more time going to and from work. From those, 3 out of 10 people said that they would have bought a house in a different area. About 32% of the people said that the home that they bought was smaller than they intended to buy at first. And almost all of them encountered these 4 problems. 1. Too much maintenance. They realized that owning a home doesn't mean you just pay for the mortgage and that's it. There are also property taxes, insurance, repairs, maintenance, etc. 2. The house was too small. And that's not all. 4 out of 5 people say that they made concessions, meaning they didn't buy their dream home like they intended to, but had to settle for something that they could afford. 3. High mortgage. This seems to be the main concern when buying a home in 2022. Mortgage prices seem to be going through the roof, and the average rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is a whopping 6.23%. For a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage, that rate is 5.09%. So it's really important to talk to a mortgage broker and get different quotes for your mortgage and compare them. 4. Bad investment. 24% of people said that their home was too expensive and therefore it made it a bad financial investment. Rushing into buying a home could lead to serious problems down the road, and that's why you need to plan accordingly. That's why you need to take the opportunity cost of your investment. What in the world is an opportunity cost? Well, we're glad you asked. An opportunity cost is also known as the cost of your money. In simple terms, would you make more money if you were to invest the money you saved up in an S&P mutual fund? You see, it's not always wise to have your money tied up in a house. It's not the wisest decision. Sometimes it might be smarter just to rent a home and park that down payment somewhere else. Now, as we've said, renting prices are through the roof also. But that doesn't make buying a house a smart investment by default. You need to do some comparisons and calculate your realistic home budget. The monthly payment on the mortgage is just one of the things that you need to take into account. You also need to account for property taxes, which depends on the state you live in, the cost of your insurance, which also varies according to the provider. And of course, maintenance and repairs are going to be the biggest cost you might incur. This is really important because people looking for houses on sites like Zillow can't see if a property needs roof fixing, major repairs in the basement, or new plumbing. Those are hidden costs. And from the numbers above, you can see that many people had buyer's remorse. After all, it's not just the shiny new kitchen and the nice bathroom tiles that you need to pay attention to. Another important thing to consider when buying a home is the cost of buying. Now, if you've been a renter so far, it would seem logical that the paperwork for the house would be just as simple to set up for buying a house as it is for renting a house. But no, that's exactly the opposite. Getting all the documents and paperwork ready will cost you anywhere from 4% to 7% of the purchasing price of the home. And if you think that's not a lot, consider that you will have to shell out $35,000 for paperwork on a house that cost you $500,000. That's where inspections, escrow charges, loan origination fees, transaction cost, all of these are small hidden fees no one talks about until you're halfway into your deal. So if your calculations don't work out, it's much smarter to rent for a year, 2, or 5, and then find a good house, instead of saddling yourself with a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage that you will be paying well into your 60s. And this brings us to another important point: future housing opportunities. Since a lot of people won't be buying a home at this time, there would be a lot of homes on the market. In fact, the national inventory of homes grew by an astonishing 18.7% in 2022. This means that in the future, you will have more houses to look at. If you have more houses to look at, the chances of you getting a home that'll be in your budget range might be something you want to wait on. And of course, there are always those who say that a recession is right around the corner. So if you buy a house now, and during the recession, the price of housing falls, you may have just bought yourself a very expensive liability. Unless you want to get a property that goes down in value, the experts say it would be best to wait. On a related note, do you think it's better to buy or not buy a house right now? You can tell us in the comment section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.